Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we are continuing with Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta Adi Lila, chapter 4, starting from verse number 257. Donahara yesamurasa bharata munimane amara vrajira rasa sehe nahi jane. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The sage Bharat has said that the mellows of lover and beloved are equal, but he does not know the mellows of my Vrindavan. Purport. According to expert sexologists like Bharat Muni, the male and the female enjoy equally in material sexual pleasure. But in the spiritual world, the relationships are different, although this is unknown to mundane experts. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So here, the first important point is that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is not talking about Bharat Maharaj. He's talking about Bharat Muni, a sage, who is actually the author of Natya Shastra. And this Natya Shastra, it deals with dance, drama, poetry, and music. So Srila Prabhupada, of course, if we didn't have purport of Srila Prabhupada, we would not really understand this verse. But he explains that the relationship in the spiritual world is unknown to mundaners, for those who are in this material world. They think the pleasure is probably the same, but the pleasure is not the same. The verse says that people in general do not know the mellows of my Vrindavan, Krishna's Vrindavan. And that is possible to understand only when we have mercy of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Without the mercy of Krishna, it is not possible to understand anything. Anything means anything. Nothing about Krishna, nothing about his Vrindavan, nothing about devotional service, nothing about Radharani, nothing at all is possible to understand without the mercy of Krishna. Let's see what he says in verse number 258. Excuse me. The happiness I feel when meeting Radharani is 100 times greater than the happiness I get from meeting others. So, this is very natural. Radharani is the pleasure potency of Krishna, the one who gives pleasure to Krishna. Even though Krishna is Atmaram, he's self-satisfied, he doesn't need anything or anybody, but he himself expanded as Srimati Radharani, the pleasure potency. So happiness to meet Radharani is greater than meeting others. And Radharani is the topmost. Even though she is a pleasure potency of Krishna, she is the topmost. Her love is, it's not possible to compare her love with anyone, not even the gopis. So here, Krishna is expressing his happiness, which is greater than anyone else when he meets Radha Rani. Let's see what he says in the next verse. These are all the verses spoken by Krishna himself. My dear auspicious Radharani, your body is the source of all beauty. Your red lips are softer than the sense of mortal sweetness. Your face bears the aroma of a lotus flower. Your sweet words defeat the vibrations of the cuckoo, and your limbs are cooler than the pulp of sandalwood. All my transcendental senses are overwhelmed in ecstatic pleasure by tasting you, who are completely decorated by beautiful qualities. Purport. This verse spoken by Lord Krishna to Radha is recorded in the Lalita Madhava 9.9 of Srila Rupa Goswami. So you see here, very important point is, of course, the description of beautiful Srimati Radharani. How, in scriptures we have heard the description of Krishna, what is his color, his lotus-like eyes, his curly hair, etc., etc. And for the first time, we are hearing description of Srimati Radharani, which is described by Krishna himself so beautifully. And the purport gives us the reference. See, that's the beauty of hearing the spiritual knowledge or Vedic scriptures in strict disciplic succession, in parampara. When we hear in parampara, then we get the knowledge as it is. And the gurus in the parampara, they do not just speak out of their own speculation, their mind, their opinions, or their ideas. No, they give the knowledge as it is, and they also give references from the scriptures. Srila Prabhupada says that when a lawyer is, fighting a case for the client, when the lawyer gives references from the law book, then his case becomes very strong. So here we also, when we are speaking, when we are giving the spiritual knowledge to others, we try to give references from the scriptures. So this verse is such a beautiful description of Srimati Radharani. Of course, it's beyond our conception. Theoretically, yes, we can understand, we are hearing, we are reading, we are speaking about it, but to actually realize, it's beyond our conception. You see, it's not possible to describe or to discuss the beautiful qualities or the beautiful face of Srimati Radharani, no. But we can take this knowledge, this verse especially, and consider it like a window to the spiritual world. This is what Srila Prabhupada says. Let this be a window to the spiritual world. So just like when we see Krishna's picture, we can meditate upon it, that, okay, this is how Krishna looks like in the spiritual world also. Similarly, when we see Radharani's picture, we can meditate on that picture, keeping this verse in mind, the description of her beautiful face. So this is how we can also increase our devotion for Srimati Radharani and Krishna. Verse number 260. Her eyes are enchanted by the beauty of Lord Krishna, the enemy of Kamsa. Her body thrills in pleasure at his touch. Her ears are always attracted to his sweet voice. Her nostrils are enchanted by his fragrance, and her tongue hankers for the nectar of his soft lips. She hangs down her lotus-like face, exercising self-control only by pretense, but she cannot help showing the external signs of her spontaneous love for Lord Krishna. Purport. Thus, Srila Rupa Goswami describes the countenance of Radha Rani. Again, more description about Srimati Radha Rani. And from this verse, we can understand that she is completely surrendered to Krishna. See, Rupa Goswami is describing Radharani's face and her facial expressions, right? So he is explaining, in fact, the whole verse is explaining that she wants to only see Krishna, hear about Krishna, smell Krishna, feel Krishna. This is all. She's not interested in anything else except Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada, he has given us a very simple process by which we can become fully conscious of Radha and Krishna. What is that simple process? Just chant attentively Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, every day. Every day. Just like when a person is diseased, they need to take the medication every day to cure the disease. Similarly, we have this disease in this material world, which is called illusion or Maya. So to get rid of that disease, Srila Prabhupada has given us a simple process by chanting attentively every day, because these sound vibrations, they enter our ears and go straight to the heart and purify the heart. Read his books every day. Follow the 4 regulative principles very strictly. Do some service in the temple. Preach. You see, this whole simple process can help us to become fully conscious of Krishna. And not only that, also completely surrender. See, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is making it very clear in the last chapter that if we want to get rid of all our past sinful reactions, then we need to surrender unto him only. Sarva dharman parityagya mam ekam sharanam raja. Only me, he says, surrender unto me. What does that mean? That means follow the instructions given in the Bhagavad Gita. Then we will be able to get rid of all our sinful reactions and be able to go back to the spiritual world. Verse number 261. Excuse me. Considering this, I can understand that some unknown mellow in me controls the entire existence of my captivator, Srimati Radha Rani. He is calling Srimati Radha Rani, and he's not just calling, he's declaring that Srimati Radharani is my captivator, someone who captivates Krishna. And how does she captivate? By spontaneous love. It's not that she has a rope, that she ties around Krishna and pulls him towards her. No, it is spontaneous love. And Srila Prabhupada has said that Krishna is completely under the control of Srimati Radharani. And he also says that one can conquer Krishna with spontaneous love. So again, if we follow the instructions given in the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Caitanya Charitamrta, and we put it into practice, we follow this simple process, then we will also be able to conquer Krishna. Now, conquering Krishna is not something like, people try to do in war or when they fight, conquer. No, conquer in the sense with pure love for him. So the joy that Radharani derives from Krishna is what Krishna wants to experience. Let's see, it's given in the next verse, number 262. Excuse me. I am always eager to taste the joy that Radharani derives from me. See, this is the title of this chapter, the reasons why Lord Krishna appeared as Caitanya Mahaprabhu over 500 years ago. He came down, he descended to this material world, and the reasons are given in this chapter. Of course, the reasons will continue in the next chapter also, but he descended as Caitanya Mahaprabhu because he wanted to taste that mellow that Radharani is tasting in association of Krishna. So when Radharani is so much in love with Krishna, the spontaneous, pure love for Krishna, she is deriving so much pleasure. So now Krishna wants to taste that same joy that Radharani is deriving from spontaneous love for Krishna. Verse number 263. In spite of various efforts, I have not been able to taste it, but my desire to relish that pleasure increases as I smell its sweetness. Now the question comes, how is it possible? Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How is it that he has made an effort so many times and he's still not able to taste that pleasure that Radharani is tasting? But the desire is there, he's saying, right? He's saying that I want to relish that pleasure. I want to taste that mellow that gives so much pleasure to Radharani just by loving me. Now, Krishna, he has the desire to relish the pleasure. In Bhagavad Gita, we keep hearing again and again and again. It is the desire that is the first step. The desire will lead to thoughts, thoughts will lead to words, words will lead to actions. But if the desire is not there, then nothing is going to happen. Like in 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sanivishto matah smritir jnanam apohanam cha. That I am there in the heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. But we have to make that choice. What do we want? We want to hear about Krishna, we want his knowledge, we want to remember him, or we want to forget him. Based on our desire, our choice, Krishna is going to act accordingly. Now, from this verse, that we just read from Sri Caitanya Charitamrta, it is so difficult to imagine, that Krishna is not able to relish that pleasure. It is also difficult to imagine what it is like. You see, these topics of spontaneous love of Radha and Krishna, it's beyond our conception. It is not easy to understand that. So Prabhupada says anything that is beyond our conception, we should approach the authority. Right? We must approach the guru in the disciplic succession and parampara and try to understand. Now, we may approach the spiritual master and try to understand, but we must also pray for the mercy of Krishna. See, we cannot just, just like in academic knowledge, we go to school, we go to college, we take on knowledge, we graduate, etc., etc. That is all material knowledge. But as far as spiritual knowledge is concerned, it is possible to understand only by the mercy of Krishna. Now, how do we get his mercy? When he sees our sincere efforts, our endeavors to try to understand him. That is when he will shower his mercy. So from these verses, we can actually appreciate the eternal love of Radha and Krishna. Let's see the next verse, number 264. Excuse me. Formerly, I appeared in the world to taste mellows, and I tasted the mellows of pure love in various ways. So here is another reference, right? That Krishna has appeared before and he has tasted the mellows. Now, this is talking about him appearing as Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu to relish that mellow of pure love of Radha and Krishna. So from this reference, we can again understand that it was Krishna who appeared as Caitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, in our history books in India, we have Caitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned in those history books. So it's not just a story. It's not just mythology. No, it is actually given in the scriptures that Krishna appeared as Caitanya Mahaprabhu about 540 years ago in Mayapur, Navadvip, Mayapur. Next verse. Excuse me. Verse number 265. I taught devotional service. I think something happened. Let me see. Okay. I taught devotional service that springs from the devotee's spontaneous love by demonstrating it in my pastimes. So, when Krishna came as Caitanya Mahaprabhu, one of the reasons also was to teach us how to perform devotional service, to show us how to love Krishna spontaneously, not by force, like sometimes for, with children, we have to force them, oh, come to the temple room, come on, attend the arti, chant, all that. Sometimes we have to force them to do that. Excuse me. That is not spontaneous. But Caitanya Mahaprabhu came to show us how to love Krishna spontaneously, even though he himself is Krishna, but he's in the mood of Radharani and teaching us. He showed us actually by his own example. He used to chant all the time. He also gave us knowledge about Bhakti Yoga. In fact, Srimad Bhagavatam, it is full of pastimes of Krishna and his devotees. Why is that there? So that we can get attracted to Krishna just by hearing about him. Doesn't it happen even in the material world? Like a boy, he is hearing about the beauty of a girl. She's so beautiful, her eyes are like lotus petals or whatever, this and that description of the girl, and immediately there's an attraction for that girl. But this, we're talking about pure spontaneous love for Krishna. So the more we will hear about Krishna, the more we will get attracted to him. Next verse, number 266. But these 3 desires of mine were not satisfied, for one cannot enjoy them in a contrary position. Now, when I was reading this verse, I was thinking, Krishna's desires are not satisfied? How is that possible? Because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever he desires is definitely fulfilled. So how come these 3 desires of Krishna were not satisfied? This is one of the reasons why he came down as Caitanya Mahaprabhu, to actually save us from the clutches of Kali Yuga, to save us and help us to get rid of the miseries of this material world and go back to the spiritual world. So here, it is a pastime of Krishna. He is saying this because he wants to relish the position of Srimati Radharani. So what are the 3 desires that Krishna is saying were not satisfied? And that's why he had to come down as Caitanya Mahaprabhu. The first reason is he wanted to relish the position of Srimati Radharani. What does she feel because of this spontaneous pure love for him? The second is to understand the transcendental mellow or attraction of himself. Like, what is it within him that attracts others? To understand his own sweetness. And also, so because of that, he accepted the mentality of Radharani, the complexion of Srimati Radharani when he came down as Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And the third desire was to enjoy the bliss that Srimati Radharani is tasting. So these are the 3 desires which were not satisfied. That is why he came down as Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Verse number 267. Unless I accept the luster of the ecstatic love of Sri Radhika, these 3 desires cannot be fulfilled. So he is actually glorifying Srimati Radharani, that only if I can, fulfill these desires, only these 3 desires, and that will be possible only when he accepts the complexion of Radharani, he's saying luster of love of Srimati Radharani. In other words, he wants to be in her position so that he can taste the love of himself. Sometimes we say, you will understand when you are in my shoes, or you will understand when you are in my position. Or we say, put yourself in my shoes and think. Don't we say that sometimes? So here Krishna is also thinking that if I am in Radharani's position, then I will be able to taste my own mellows, like taste the pleasure that Srimati Radharani is having just by spontaneous love for me. So this is what Krishna is thinking and talking about. Verse number 268. Therefore, assuming Radharani's sentiments and bodily complexion, I shall descend to fulfill these three desires. So here we have another reference that it is Krishna himself who came down as Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. That is why he assumed Radharani's sentiments and her complexion, the golden, beautiful golden complexion. And another reference is he descended. Many times people ask, why do you say Caitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself? It's given in the scriptures. References that Krishna himself is speaking, and he's saying that I will descend in the complexion and sentiment of Srimati Radharani. And he says, then I will be able to fulfill these three desires. So from this, we can understand the purpose of Krishna appearing as Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Next verse number 269. In this way, Lord Krishna came to a decision. Simultaneously, the time came for the incarnation of the age. So, very, very clear. It was Krishna's decision. Just like they say, not a blade of grass moves without the permission of the Supreme Lord. So here Krishna desired, he decided that he wants to descend. And the time came for his descent in Kali Yuga. And why did he come down as Caitanya Mahaprabhu? To show us compassion, to show us mercy. You see, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, Kalir dosha nidhe rajan. You see, this Kali Yuga is full of doshas. It is full of faults. We can see that the disqualifications of Kali Yuga are given in Srimad Bhagavatam, that people are unlucky, lazy, misguided, unfortunate, short-lived. So many disqualifications are there in Kali Yuga. So here, out of compassion, Krishna decided to come down in Kali Yuga, descend in Kali Yuga, so that he can help us to come out of the cycle of birth and death, to relieve us of all the miseries that we are going through. We have heard from Bhagavad Gita that there are 7 kinds of miseries: birth, disease, old age, and death, right? But there are 3 more miseries, and that is Adhyatmika, Adidevika, Adibhautika. The miseries caused by mind and body, miseries caused by material nature, and miseries caused by other living entities. So to relieve us of all these 7 kinds of miseries, he came down to give us a very simple method to go back to the spiritual world just by attentive chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That was the purpose also to come down as Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Verse number 217. At that time, Sri Advaita was earnestly worshipping him. Advaita attracted him with his loud calls. So, who is Sri Advaita Acharya? He is none other than Mahavishnu. So, Sri Advaita Acharya, more than 540 years ago, he first descended to worship Lord Krishna with what? With tulasi leaves and Ganges water, water of the Ganga. And he cried out loudly, earnestly, he was fervently praying to Lord Krishna to please descend in Kali Yuga. And because he called out so loudly, so sincerely, that Krishna got attracted by his prayers, and so he descended as Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu just by hearing the loud prayers. So we see sincerity and seriousness are very, very important in devotional lives. Very important. Only then we can attract Krishna. So when Advaita Acharya was worshipping the Lord very seriously and sincerely and loudly, crying out to the Lord, please come down. People in Kali Yuga are suffering. And that is what attracted Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu to appear. That is Krishna to appear as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Verse 271 and 272. First, Lord Krishna made his parents and elders appear. Then Krishna himself, with the sentiments and complexion of Radhika, appeared in Navadvip, like the full moon from the womb of Mother Sachi, which is like an ocean of pure milk. Another reference from the scriptures that Krishna appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That means there's no difference between Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And another reference that he came with sentiments and complexion of Srimati Radharani, and also that he sent his parents and elders to appear before. That means Krishna decides who will be his parent, who will be his elder, who will be his relative. He decides. It's not just anyone is picked up as, Krishna's parents and relatives. No, he makes the arrangements. So this verse says that he sent his parents and elders first. Obviously, the parents have to come first for the child to be born. And then he appeared in Navadvip. So the place of appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also given as a reference in Caitanya Charitamrta, that he appeared in Navadvip. Name of his mother also is given, Sachimata. In fact, in Srimad Bhagavatam, when we go towards the end of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is reference about Krishna appearing towards the end of Kali Yuga as Kalki. So his name is given, his place of birth is given, in which village he'll be born, and the name of his parents is given, of something that's going to happen thousands of years from now. The duration of Kali Yuga is 432,000 years, out of which only 5,000 is gone. So we still have 427,000 years left. And the reference is already there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So you see, these scriptures are our life and soul. They are the words of the Supreme Lord. So, and here in this verse, Mother Sachi is compared to an ocean of pure milk. Obviously, if Krishna has chosen her as his mother, she must be at that stage of, purity to be his mother. So here we learn that Krishna is the one who chooses his parents, relatives, and all this when he appears in this material world. Text 273. Meditating on the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Goswami, I have thus explained the 6th verse. What do we learn from this? That Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he's meditating on Rupa Goswami, his spiritual master. And he's saying, I explained this verse, 6th verse, by meditating on Rupa Goswami. Very important to meditate on the spiritual master and his instructions before giving a class. Beg for his mercy, because it is not we who can speak. It is the knowledge that is coming down through disciplic succession. It's not possible to preach without the mercy of the spiritual master. So just like Sri Advaita Acharya fervently prayed to the Lord, we should fervently pray to the spiritual master to guide us and to help us to be able to preach. Otherwise, it's not possible. Verse 274. Excuse me. I can support the explanation of these two verses, verses 5 and 6 of the first chapter, with a verse by Sri Rupa Goswami. in this verse, we can see that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he is not giving an explanation by his own understanding or realizations. No, he is giving reference of Rupa Goswami, which means again we see the importance of disciplic succession, the parampara, giving references, trying to repeat what we have heard from our spiritual master. No personal opinions or speculations. We can see Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he's stressing on this point. It is not our own realizations, but he is saying, I am not speaking what I think, but I'm giving reference from Sri Rupa Goswami. Verse number 275. Lord Krishna desired to taste the limitless nectarian mellows of the love possessed by one of his multitude of loving damsels, Sri Radha, and so he has assumed the form of Lord Chaitanya. He has tasted that love while hiding his own dark complexion with her effulgent yellow color. May that Lord Chaitanya confer upon us his grace. Purport. This is the third verse of the second Chaitanya Shtaka of Srila Rupa Goswami's Stava Mala. Another reference from the scriptures, appearance of Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna himself. So here in this verse also we can see the desire of Krishna and the form that he took up as Caitanya Mahaprabhu when he came down 540 years ago. Verse number 276. Thus, the auspicious invocation, the essential nature of the truth of Lord Chaitanya, and the need for his appearance have been set forth in 6 verses. Verse 277, praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta following in their footsteps. Purport. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Caitanya Charitamrta Adi Lila, 4th chapter, describing the confidential reasons for the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. So praying to previous acharyas, very, very important. Because we, as Srila Prabhupada has explained, we human beings have 4 defects, right? We have tendency to cheat, we make mistakes, we are in illusion, and we have imperfect senses. So if we are not perfect, then we don't have the capacity to give perfect knowledge. So here we see Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he is praying to previous acharyas, the previous gurus, right? Like Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami. And he is desiring their mercy. Without the mercy of Guru and Krishna, one cannot advance in spiritual life. That is not possible. Only by pleasing Guru and Krishna that one can receive the mercy of both of them. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he is offering prayers at their lotus feet, desiring to have their mercy and to follow in their footsteps. So you see, Srila Prabhupada, he has given us a very simple process by which we can attain spontaneous pure love for Krishna. But just by following that process, we can become fully Krishna conscious. So we should take up this process very seriously and not casually. If we are not serious, then we should become serious now. Like they say, Kal kare so aaj kare so ab. Whatever we are planning to do tomorrow, we should do it today. And whatever we are planning to do today, we should do it now. Because there is no guarantee how much time is left for us on this material planet. So this is how we end the chapter. After a very long time, we have completed this chapter. I think it has taken us months because there's so many verses, almost 300 verses in this chapter. So we will end now this chapter, and if anyone has any questions or comments, you are welcome.